Welcome to Let Freedom Ring. Real quick, want to give a shout out to my guy Kendall Payne Glover. I promised him if the Cowboys won last night, I would give him a shout out on the show. So Kendall, there's your shout out. Lori Poulin, however, I will not do you that honor. But go Niners next week. That's how I look at it. But my guest this week, Kevin Lundbohm. Did I say it right?
Lundbohm, yeah.
Right off the bat.
Hey,
welcome,
Dan,
Kevin.
thank you very much. And I just want to say, Justin, thank you very much, too, because I know you guys are doing a Tuesday night special for me here. We usually do it Thursdays. So.
No, we're happy to have you. But let's get to know you a little bit. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in Tewksbury. I'm from Tewksbury. Lived there my whole life till I turned about 25 years old. And then I moved to Drake for about 5 years. And now I'm currently in Nashua.
Nice. Are you finding, so that's a big, it's kind of right over the border, but are you finding transition from Mass to New Hampshire?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, once I was in Drake, everything I did anyways was pretty much up in New Hampshire.
Okay.
So I figured, once it was time, once I sold my townhouse, which I'll explain later, I just decided, I was like, hey, New Hampshire, used to be able to get a real good piece of property for a little less. It's not as much like that anymore, but yeah, I like it. It's a smooth transition. I still work in Mass, so I pay Mass taxes, but it equals out the same,
Yeah, that was my least favorite thing about the time I did work in Massachusetts was I was like, wait, there's an extra tax thing I have to do?
Yeah, exactly.
But no, very cool. That's how my family came to New Hampshire. My parents, they were in Medford at the time, and they decided they wanted to, everybody was kind of moving from that area to Nashua at the time. And that's how we.
Well, that's what they say. That's why they say all these New Hampshire houses are going up because all of us Massachusetts coming up there. You know what I mean?
It's true.
So.
Hey, I like when people from Massachusetts come over and spend their money, but
Exactly.
But what are 3 things that everybody should know about you?
3 things everybody should know about me. First and most important is probably that I'm a very helpful person. I give my shirt off my back to somebody. I stop what I'm doing for people a lot of the times. I'm not looking for anything in return. I just like helping people. That's probably the most important thing I could say about me. Second thing is I love music. All different types of music. All different types of moods I'm in. I'll listen to different music. Music's my life. At one point, me and my brother-in-law wanted to do a DJ type thing, parties, weddings, stuff like that. But obviously that didn't work out for me. So, and then I'd say the last thing is sports. I just in general love all sports. I have a son. I know we're going to go over that. He's a year and a half old and I can't wait to get out and do sports with him. I already tried to put a glove on him, bat, everything like that. So, I say those are probably the 3 top things people should know about me.
All right. Awesome. I know you like music, big karaoke guy.
Oh yeah.
We know about that. What is your go-to and how did that become it?
So, my one-hit wonder. It was a one-hit wonder for a long time. All right. Now I've decided to, try new things, but it's Tricky by Run DMC.
Okay.
And I know you've heard it.
Yeah.
I know you've heard it, and what the crowd likes it, right?
Yeah.
How it came about, I have no idea, to be honest with you. I just did it one time, and actually we do it at my mother and father-in-law's house. On nights we were drinking a little bit. And I don't know. She's like, oh, you killed that. She's like, you should try it somewhere. And I literally, everywhere I go, my wife's like, you're doing this again? What I mean? That's my one hit. They know, So, yeah, I love karaoke. And hopefully we can get out and do some more of that sometime, too.
Yeah, we're trying to get some people from Pickup to go. So it's a good time. Now, sticking with the theme of the show, and this is the big money question that we ask every guest. What does it mean to you to be an American?
So I had to think about this one for a little bit. Because the obvious is freedom. To everybody, if you ask that question, everybody, the first thought in their head is probably freedom, So I thought about this for a little bit, so I decided to take freedom and just branch it off a little bit. I obviously am for guns, I don't own a lot of guns, but, with the type of field I'm in, I'm not against it. That's one thing. But I decided to branch off freedom a little bit. So something that's real important to me is the fact that you can go to whatever hospital you want in this country and that you can't be denied health care. Because about 2 years ago, my father-in-law got diagnosed with a very rare leukemia that only 2 people ever had at Lowell General.
Oh, wow.
So Lowell General is affiliated with Tufts, and nothing personal about Tufts, but we're like, hey, Tom, Mass General is the best hospital in the world. We want you to go there. And he, had to jump through hoops. It wasn't like, oh, I can just go to Mass General, but he finally got there, and the fact that Lowell General ever saw it, they've only ever seen 2 people with that. Things weren't, supposed to be real good for him, and knock on wood, he's been cancer-free ever since. Now, that guy is a warrior. He is, he's like one of my best friends. He is a warrior. I was living with him during the time, and like, I don't even know how that guy made it through that. So he never gave up. That's why. And I'd say that's what it means to me to be American, because, in other countries, they might have just been like, hey, you're all set. You're going to this one, or that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think just the research that we have in this country too,
No, I get it. And because sometimes people just say, well, the freedom. I go, well, tell me what that means to you.
I know, it's a tough question, because that's honestly, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, freedom, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
like, what about freedom, So,
we've had guests on the show say it best. It's like, we are sitting at this table we got wrestling figurines on the table, drinking bottled water, and just shooting the breeze. That's a big thing that, yeah, you can do that in other countries too, but there's some things that make us very different. So that's a good answer. Do you want to talk about this? Because you're 9 to 5 as a corrections officer. How did you start into that career?
So after high school, I went to Middlesex Community College. I tried a couple different things. Wasn't really what I was into, so I went for criminal justice. I wanted to be a cop, so I tried a couple different interviews. I didn't get any of them, so I just kept plugging away. And then I decided to try out the sheriff's department and correction officer. My father-in-law has been there for 26. He's almost 27 years now.
Wow.
So yeah, I work at the Middlesex Sheriff's Office.
Cool.
I've been there for 8 complete. I'm on my 9th year currently. So I got lucky because it's a job with pretty good pay, good setup in the future, good pension, and it's kind of just like every other job though has its ups and downs. So I'd say how I came across it really is like just from school, and then my father-in-law kind of being like, hey, pal, like, why don't you give this a shot,
Yeah, yeah.
And then from there, it could be a stepping stone and you go somewhere else, which is probably not going to be the case. I'll probably stay there. But a couple of just key points I want to bring about this career and this job was that, it has its ups and downs a lot. And but I was able to, in the 8 years complete that I've been there, I was able to get married. I was able to leave my parents' house, get my first apartment, which then I ended up buying a townhouse in Drake. I ended up living there for 4 years, sold it, and then I'm blessed that my in-laws took me and my wife and my dog back into their house rent-free for me to be able to take what I sold my townhouse for and then gain a little money, and then bought the forever home where now I have my son, my wife, my dog, and my forever home. My father-in-law is almost at 27 complete, and he's got about 18 months left.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I know you were going to ask me probably some about like the retirement. So the retirement's pretty good there. So you could do 10 years and be vested. So I start at 24 years old. At 10 years, you can be vested, but you can't start collecting that until you're 56, or they might change it to 57 in Massachusetts. Or I could do 20 years. I'll be 44 years old and start a new career, and I could start at 44 and take 50% of my pay for the rest of my life in medical. And then, the percentage goes up to like 78% when you're 50. I'll be 56.
Cool. Yeah.
So, for all the negatives, that's, sorry. Sorry about that. I was trying not to do that the whole time, but it's all right. So all the negatives that's in there, I try and look at the positives of things that I've gotten in my life positive about it, and that, I'll have a probably good setup for my future.
Yeah. Now, how's the training for that? Is there a lot that goes into that, or?
It was a 9-month training when I went,
okay.
and
So
I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. They do a good job there. Yeah, like I said, they do a good job. It's just like any other career, though. There's going to be ups and downs.
Sure. Sure. Well, and we know that you're a big softball player too. You're really into that, as well as I am. How did you start?
I don't really know. It won't stop running.
Yeah, it happens. Happens to the best of us.
I know, it's a tough
It's that time of year.
Yeah, I know.
But how'd you end up starting to play softball?
So, Greg Kelly, I grew up like about a mile away from him. He's been my best friend since like 5th grade. So I played baseball my whole entire life. I didn't play in college, and then I didn't do anything for a long time. And then I'd say a couple of years ago, Greg Kelly's like, hey, why don't you come down Tewksbury Elks, try men's softball.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, whatever, I'll give it a shot. And then, so really, the reason why I started softball is Greg. I'm on I just finished last year, my third year of playing, so this year will be my fourth. And I gotta say, it's definitely because of Greg. And real quick, because we're talking about that for last year, I want to give a shout out to my next door neighbor Max, and I want to give a shout out to Marjorie, who did the bomb squad on.
She's the captain of the
bomb squad. And then Andy, I don't know Andy's last name, but he does the pub for Tuesday, Thursday nights.
Andy, oh wow, I've known Andy Paul. I've known Andy for years.
No idea, but you know who I'm talking about. They took me on the team. I wasn't going to play last year at all. I actually was going to sell my stuff. I wasn't going to play. And Greg's like, just come down, come watch me play. And he always like, oh, come have a beer, watch me play. And I'm like, I'm not going to come. And he's like, no, come down. Andy will want you on the team, blah, blah, blah. So I went down, watched the game, and then Andy ended up picking me up. And then she picked me up because Max hit her up and was like, hey, this is my next door neighbor wants to play. So honestly, if it wasn't for those two and Greg, I wouldn't have even played last year. I wouldn't have got back into it. And now I'm about it again. So
yeah, because Max was my wrestling coach growing up.
Oh, no kidding.
For a very short time. I think he moved or something, but when I was wrestling at the Boys and Girls
Unbelievable
Club.
neighbor, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Great guy. Honestly, it's good to have a good neighbor like that. Like, if I needed him to go in my house and do something, I could have him,
No, I like Max. I used to go over, because when I was on SOS with him, we'd go over for the fish fries. Those were always a good time. Yeah, but I could never tell if Max was like, I don't know. He's one of those guys that he's great time, but you can't tell if he's mad at you or not.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I know what you mean about people like that. Yeah, no, I've never heard a bad thing come out of his mouth about you. So
yeah, and I wouldn't think, but I was like, I saw him at the field. I was like, Max, what's going on? He's like, hi.
Yeah,
all right.
I love that.
I got to ask this. What was the big transition from, because you said you played baseball now. I started playing slow pitch softball when I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
Right? So it was only maybe a year, maybe 2 years since I had played baseball. And we'd still play like pickup baseball games. So there was a transition where I was like, man, all I'm hitting is ground balls until I figured it out. What was the transition like for you?
It was tough to hit that big yellow ball, you know.
You'd think it was like just be easy.
Oh,
right?
yeah, no, I know. I don't know, like growing up playing baseball, I remember, my mother was like my number one fan, never miss a game. And then she'd be like, Kevin, you're dipping your shoulder again, and everything like that. And I'd say, like, that's probably the hardest thing in the softball, because if you don't hit that ball in the right spot and stuff and you dip your shoulder, you're just going to pop it up and stuff. So, with it, and I played ASA when I started, so the ball was even higher, So I guess it was a little difficult, but and I'm like the worst in my own head, but I like to, when I play, I give it everything I have, no matter what. Whether it's a league game, whether I don't play tournaments a lot, if it's that, no matter what it is, whether it's pickup, I give it everything I have. And I'm by no means good, if anything average, but usually people pick me up by like, hey, because the energy I try and bring. So it's like I had a lot of good help with transition into that,
Yeah, no, I get it. And then it's definitely like there is a change there. It's funny, like talking about dropping your shoulder and stuff. I get in this debate with people all the time that I hate when people are like elbow up. I never liked that. When I was taught to hit, it was elbow, so you're swinging right through.
Yeah. And
people like will see my swing and I go, no, that doesn't work for me.
I've tried a couple of things. Actually, in pickup, one of the players was like I almost kind of did like a Alex Verdugo at one point. It was like staying down until the ball came up. I tried a couple of different things. So I'm still, it's only been 3 years for me. I'm still trying to work on things. I'm trying to better myself. Anything I do in life, I try and better myself. And then I did say I had a lot of people that have tried to help me out. And I don't want to say names in case I miss anybody. But honestly, you guys know who have helped me out if you did. And that means a lot to me. So. Yeah,
no, exciting stuff. I'm heading into year 18.
Yeah,
for me, which is
I wish I started younger.
Well, when I first got to Plymouth State, I did two things. I said, how do I play softball? Join that, and how do I join the rugby team? Did that all in the first week, and that's so.
Well, you said 18 years, right? So, one thing about pickup that I loved, which I'll mention pickup, is that I don't know the kid's father, but I guess he played for a long time. Something Olette.
Bud Olette, yeah.
Yeah, that kid Zach. I want to give a shout out to that kid. He's like 17 years old. He was coming down there, and he was trying his best there. And I think in that short period of time that we played those pickups, I seen an improvement, a lot from that kid. And like, I really respect that a lot. I wish I was that young when I started that, and I like that kid. He's a really good kid.
Yeah, we got to get it. He reached out because he wants to play Sundays, so I got to get him on a team. But
Yeah, because at 17, I'm not sure if you can or not or whatever.
he'll
But
be 18,
Yeah.
so he'll be able to be in
Either
the
way,
league. Or he
I
might
mean-
just turned 18. I don't know.
either way, big props to that kid for coming down there and working hard,
Well, I can tell because his dad was the president before Max, and then I took it out over
Okay.
Max. So Zach used to be there, and it's crazy because I'm seeing all this stuff as these kids get older. Where another Zach Lapointe, I'll be playing with him for him this winter in indoor. His father, Rich, I played with for years, and Zach used to just be a little kid at the field. Zach, same thing, and it's like, oh man, I'm getting old because these guys are now coming into the leagues. So, shout out to Zach though, great kid.
Yep, absolutely.
What have been some of your favorite moments so far, playing wise?
So obviously winning. Who doesn't like to win? Right?
Yeah.
So in the 3 years that I've played, I've won 4 times. You get the
Like 4 games or
no,
okay.
like league championships and one tournament. So 3 league championships, 1 tournament. You get to put the finger up. Whatever.
Yeah.
The whole.
It's blown up so big where it's like everybody. It wasn't always like this.
Oh yeah.
There's a tournament almost any weekend now.
Nobody can say that they don't like winning. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like that's definitely a good moment for me. Another big thing is friends. I've met a lot of people in the 3 years that I've been playing with. And that's big. And like after pick up how we hang out and stuff like that. Actually a couple of people that have questions. I like to almost family. At this point. So. And then I played this church league, and a good moment I had there is there was this guy Mark on the team. Forget his last name, but this guy, older guy. The whole team was dying. This guy would run like it was for his life, and he would always fall around third base.
Oh gosh.
And like a full-blown fall. And it just, the energy that guy brought, he actually voice messaged every single player on the teams in the playoffs to like try and pump them up and like, hey, this is what I think you're good at. I think you're the best at this, blah, blah, blah. But this guy always fell, either going to first or round in third. And it was just, oh my God, it was awesome. The church league was fun. I know you did that too, and we talked about it.
Yeah, I've been in this was the 4th time I've played in there because I'm leaving the team that I was on over some personal differences.
Yeah, of course. No, I know.
But I still, it's a fun league, and I think it should be not taken crazy serious. I've seen people. It's like, we're in the church league. Let's step on their throat, and I go, well, let's calm down.
And it's not just me and you. You ask anybody else in that league, they're like, I cannot believe how competitive that league is and how almost fist fights in that
sometimes,
league.
which should never happen.
Of course, never ever. But we're talking church league where you pray before the game.
Yeah.
And then, but then they're talking stuff. Whatever. It's fun.
It has calmed down. I try to, that league especially, but all my leagues always try to show sportsmanship. But I think that one, in my personal opinion, you should be going above and beyond with sportsmanship. And when you do see that, you hate to see it.
And then the last thing I'd say is probably for not so much memory, but maybe almost favorite league would be pickup. And I honestly think if you're a player that's first time ever playing, or if you're a player that plays at Worlds all the time, you should play that league because you should play that pickup.
We're not a league, no affiliation with anything, but yes, I know what you mean. Yeah,
But you should because that was probably the best experience I've had. Because you're switching up teams, you're playing with different people, you're going down there. Sometimes there's not a lot of people, so you're getting a lot of swings. You have a lot of good laughs, music. And then I played shortstop, dude, one game.
Yeah.
I never played shortstop in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, but I was having fun, you know what I mean? And it was something that I got to try.
Yeah.
I never would do it again, and especially with certain people that are up at bat. No, thank you, but.
Yeah, throw a mask on.
Exactly, yeah.
We started that. Well, it's funny. Back in the day, I used to run pickup every Saturday back in 2010, 2011, and we would have huge numbers at Greeley Park, and then sometimes we play at Nashua North, and we'd be packed. But then we were younger, and then people started not making it, and I think we all started joining more leagues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what happened with the pickup league was the pandemic happened. and we had no
Right.
leagues to play in. I think Merrimack, I couldn't play in the Merrimack League because I was working those nights. All the Nashville leagues were dead for the year except co-ed came back, but that was on Sundays. There wasn't much, so we just said, hey, Jen had this idea, because I do give Jen a little bit of credit.
Of course, yeah.
The only thing was she was just running it off a group chat. I said, Jen, let me take over this. I think I can double our numbers. And a shout out to Craig Pelletier too, because he was at first bringing a full team to play whoever else would play against it, and then we just started throwing gloves in.
Shout out to him, but I've never even met him. But I mean, if he was there for Team Myers in
Schulte was there.
Craig,
Greg Kelly was there. It could have been different.
Exactly. So, but no, honestly, that league's great, and I really encourage people to do it and come down there, even if you do it 1 or 2 times to get swings. It's honestly a fun night.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun, and Team Myers will be back.
Oh yeah.
Jen had to win eventually. I mean, I beat her the first 2 years. So,
but it really doesn't matter if you're like your first time ever playing or you're the best player in the world, because nobody down there treats you like that. So.
No, we just have fun, and even when we do, we'll put as many people. I don't think we ever go more than a little 12 on the field, but we don't want people sitting. That's for sure.
Exactly.
We got some questions from the fans here, from the Let Freedom Ring universe. First one from Robbie Bouchard, 2-time guest of the show.
Great kid.
What's your favorite part about being a dad to a little boy?
So my son is 17 months old, almost a year and a half old. So I know that he has a kid. His son's a little bit older than mine, but the best part about having my son is seeing that smile on his face, watching him grow, and like Dada. He said "Mama" first. She deserved it. I'm all good with that. He's been Team Dada lately and been saying Dada a lot. It has a lot of challenges too, of course, like anything else, but you can't, you need challenges in life. Everything can't just be easy. I'd say your regular 5-minute Dunkin' Donuts getting an iced coffee is now 25 minutes when you have a kid, But realistically, you can have the worst day at work, the worst day in the world, and you come home and you see that kid smile and everything changes, your whole mood, everything like that. So I just can't wait to get on the ball field with him. Anything he wants to do. I don't care if it's ball field. I don't care if it's music. I don't care if it's any of that. I just can't wait to watch him grow and do everything that he can do at the best of his ability.
Awesome. And Robbie also wants to know, and this is a big one. This is taking,
Sorry, and he's a great dad too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Robbie, yes.
Yeah, you can tell that
yeah.
in the videos I've seen. Mm-hmm. He also wants to know, and this has been a big debate that we've gotten on Facebook. Obviously, I support the cart narcs, and I've seen a lot of issues with carts just all over the place. It gets worse, it feels, in the winter. Saw some disgraceful things with Dick's Sporting Goods carts.
I saw that post the other day.
When I went to Buffalo Wild Wings the other day. Do you always put your shopping cart away, and if not, or we're no longer friends?
So, I don't even know how this came about. I really don't. But then I just seen your name tagged left and right, videos, you name it, everything. I'm surprised there's not memes with you yet and stuff. So if you haven't done it yet, there you go. I do. I always put mine away. I don't care if I park far away. I don't care if I'm the farthest person. And I'll even give you something else too. But I did send you a video, right? And who did I have in my arms? I had my son in my arms. So I'm putting my cart away with my son in my arms, pushing it that way, or I'm pushing him in the cart to the carriage and then going back to my car. So yes, Robbie, we can still be friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard.
It's just rude.
It is really just rude. And when people are just like, well, they pay people to do that, I go, no, they have them go collect the
Correct.
And then when, there's not enough cashiers, I don't want to hear it. But yeah, it gets a little ridiculous.
It's just rude because the other thing is too, it's just like a windy day, which New Hampshire compared to Mass, I don't know what it is. It's like a windstorm up here, but smashes in your car.
Yeah, and the store's not responsible.
Absolutely
that
not.
happens, they're not.
No.
I did have
and you don't even notice it that day.
Yeah.
You'll notice it a week later, you're like, where'd this den come from, So
it's just disgraceful, and I don't understand the logic behind it. Or, you do have guys like Remedy Softball making excuses, and some other people making excuses
That's
for
your
the,
next question, by the way.
carts.
So.
Yeah, we're gonna get to him. I would just say there was another time where I was on my lunch break trying to go to the grocery store real quick, and there was like nowhere to park and I kid you not, almost every space had a cart in it, and it was like, come on,
It's ridiculous.
But Jim also wants to know, ask him his favorite Merrimack men's moment.
All right, so Remedy, I know that you're thinking of two different moments here. We're going to talk about one, all right? So I know he's thinking about two different moments. But, so, I don't know if they'll see it on this, but I'll show a picture at the end when I'm done here. But, so, played Merrimack League first time, which draft is, I really do like the draft.
Yeah,
if leagues could change something around here, draft would be a big thing. Just keeps teams a lot, like, even. It's fun. Stuff like that. So
we've had the president, Jimmy O'Connor, on the show.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was actually running the team that I was on,
my
coach. So I like the draft. Big fan of the draft. But anyways, so I didn't get a lot of opportunity to play there because in that league, you got if there's 16 guys on your team, they're showing up every single game, all 16. You can't play 16 guys. And that was my second year. Like I said, I'm average at best. Some of those guys there are like ridiculous, So didn't get a lot of playing time. Playing first base, newer to first base, no mask, because I didn't think I needed masks at that time. Guy gets up, smashes a line drive, bounced, like one hops right into my forehead. First play of the game. Yep. So I didn't fall down. I guess you can consider like seeing stars a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I've been knocked silly before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm a competitive person.
Yeah.
And you know how I am. I like to give everything I have. So I'm like, I'm good to go. Let's go. I'm good, And I forget the ump's name. I've seen him a couple times. Nice guy. He's
Cooley?
like, I don't know. He's got glasses.
Cooley.
Yeah. He's like, no, pal, you're good. You can go to the bench right now. And because I had blood coming from my forehead and stuff. And I went back to the bench. I remember looking at Jim and I'm like, is this like NFL or something? Like, can, one inning or one play and then I'll head right back out? He's like, no, pal, you're done for the game. And like, a lot of caring people there. They didn't want me to drive home. I'm stubborn. I ended up, went into work the next day. The kid I work with was like, hey, pal, you probably shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Went to the doctors, had a concussion. But, now I got a mask. I do like first base, though. So, that sucked, though. It was the first play of the game. You know what I mean?
That's unlucky. That's like, what are the odds,
And then, Remedy, it was just a good birthday party, okay, pal? All right.
I do want to get, I'm not going to ask this question. Greg Kelly kind of asked inappropriate, he kind of made an inappropriate comment. Just to address this, there are words that we are not going to use on Let Freedom Ring. I have made it clear, not only to Greg, but Mikey Mullen in the past, we're not going to use that C word on the show. So let's stop using that on posts. I'd appreciate it.
Did I not text you, though? I'm surprised that was the only question that he put on there.
Yeah.
I was shocked to see how many people actually put questions, but like, I was not surprised by that one.
Yeah.
I actually thought there was going to be worse stuff.
And I know that's a word thrown around quite a bit in the softball community, but we will not be referencing that on Let Freedom Ring.
Oh, Greg.
Keith Belanger, another former guest of the show. Who should the Pats hire as the offensive coordinator? And he also has... it says, and with the news of them working with to extend Mayo, should he be named the defensive coordinator?
So, Keith, thanks for the question. But I'm a big sports guy. I'm more of a bandwagon sports fan, to be honest with you. So when it comes to offensive coordinators, defensive, I don't really get into like knowing who is on each team. All I know is Matt Patricia sucks, and that was not a good year. So they definitely got to switch things up. I'm more of a Bailey Zappi guy than Mac Jones too. So I was hoping that they did that, which they didn't. So I don't want to be rude by not answering that question, but I'm more of a bandwagon fan. Like last year's Celtics, I literally didn't miss one playoff game. That was a fun team to watch. Sucked that they didn't win the whole thing, but is what I can say to that is that we definitely have to put in some work, and it shouldn't be Matt Patricia ever again.
No, and it didn't make sense. Like honestly, a lot of times when it comes to like coordinators and stuff, I only know who's the coordinators on the Patriots, and If I am watching another game, I might know, I recognize faces. And like the other day watching the game, I go, oh, Leslie Frazier used to be the coach of the Vikings,
And don't quote me on this one because I'm not even sure. But like somebody from work was telling me that like as a whole, our wide receiver crew, like we are like all together like the most expensive out of all teams, like because they just pay them decent amount of money on each. I mean, where were they this year?
I'll say this though, to say should we switch to Mayo as defensive coordinator? I didn't see a lot of issues. The defense carried the games
With it's Steve Belichick, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Steve's the son. Yeah, I don't see that any issues there. If anything, whatever you want to keep Patricia and put him, Mayo, and Steve, whatever.
I don't know what they're going to give Patricia as a job, but I know Belichick.
You know what they should do? See you later, babe.
Well, he protects his guys, and this is one of his guys, and he's still getting paid by the Lions. So he's not coming he's not really coming at a high cost, and I think they went as cheap as you could possibly go, and it didn't work. As far as Mayo, I think that's a good signing, but there were I don't know if he needs to be the defensive coordinator or he can do some other things. I think he's a linebackers coach, but my issue, I don't think you need to change that.
Bailey Zappi or Mac Jones.
I would stick with. I didn't see enough of Zappi. Like, yeah, we won some games with him, but we didn't get to see the whole picture. And I was at that Bears game where it's like they're cheering for Zappi to come in. And I go, well, this didn't make a huge difference.
I was at the Colts game, and I mean, I may have been the guy with a couple in me that was doing it too, and the family in front of me all had Mac Jones jerseys, didn't like it that much, but it was Wood season tickets. That never happened. So...
He was our first round pick. Zappi was not. But you look at the guy like Brock Purdy for the 49ers right now, last pick in the draft.
I just wish that they should have ran with that kid when he was doing good and running. Like he won that, 2 or 3 in a row or whatever.
He won 2 games.
Just keep going with him.
Yeah, and he did well against the Packers.
Exactly.
But the Bears game was not pretty. I was there. He had the 2 quick touchdowns, and then that was it.
But was that the game Max started?
Max started, and then they pulled him. That was a mess.
Dude, you can't have those same vibes if you didn't start.
Yeah.
And then now you're coming in. You know what I mean? So, whatever.
I do think that was a mistake. I think you should have started Zappi that game until he got into trouble. Then you bring Mac in. It's a much different thing for your first round pick in 2021. You don't want to kill his confidence, so just don't put him in and say he's not ready yet. And that was, in my opinion, that was a coaching mistake by Belichick.
Yep.
I do want to give a shout out to Gerard Mayo because when he does bring up should he be the defensive coordinator, there were teams interested in him being a head coach. So there is something to be said that he might just be a guy coming up that's going to be, an important coach to watch for. I want to ask this from Pat Conley, and I think the wording on this wasn't great, and I think I know what he's asking. He's saying how stressful is it being a CEO during the day and then having to come home to wife and child, which I think he's talking about the balance of it. It's not that you have a stressful day, you're coming home to your family, you don't want to bring that stress home to them, I think is what essentially is the question.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first time I read it, Pat's a great guy. I didn't think anything different, and then like when I really read it, I'm like, maybe the wording's a little different, but no, listen, when I leave that place, I just try and leave everything there. When I punch out at the clock, I try and leave everything there behind me. I mean, some days it could be anything, whether you're working at Dunkin' Donuts or you're a CEO or you're a firefighter. It could be anything, grocery store. Some days it's just you try and leave it there and you come home and you're a little stressed. So me and my wife kind of have like something like she's a waitress, so she leaves as soon as I get home, and then it's almost like we change shifts and I watch my son. But the big thing I like to do when I get home is I like to just have my shower. I come home and I shower, and it's just, gives me a new fresh start, Kind of a dirty place I work in, not the cleanest. So I want to shower before I hang out with my son. And then B, just to relax, just everything. Just leave it all there,
Yeah, no.
So we kind of have an agreement on that type of stuff, even if she's running late, which I love the girl, but she runs late a lot. So I hear about it sometimes, but that's what I got to do. So
no, totally understandable. And I think that was just like it reminds me of like the Skip Bayless tweet the other week where a lot of people took it one way and other people took it another way.
Yes.
A lot of times in the social media, people read stuff the way they're hearing it may be different than someone else.
Right, because I think El President or whatever, Dave Dave, the guy
Portnoy?
with, the pizza guy. Didn't he come on and say like he kind of like defended Skip?
Yeah, I kind of when I first started the tweet, and everybody was going crazy. I go, he's saying like this doesn't matter anymore. That's what he was saying,
Right.
and they took it as.
I really don't think that guy was like, oh, you know what, this guy deserves to die. Like,
Yeah.
really?
That is not, because when it got sent to me, I'm like, that's not how I read it.
Exactly.
And then people go, well, you don't know anything about Skip Bayless. I go, whether I do or don't.
The problem with these things nowadays is that people just read it. I was going to show my forehead when I got hit in Merrimack, but that's fine.
Right.
I don't even know if it'll reach. So. But it was like an egg.
Brandon P. wants to know, why are you friends with Greg Kelly?
You know what, Brandon? Sometimes I ask myself that same question. No, honestly, he's been my best friend, like I said earlier in the show, since 5th grade. I mean, we've gone ups and downs with each other. You know, like I mess with him, he messes with me, but he's an unbelievable person, really, and he's another kid who'll give you his shirt off his back, even though sometimes he's like, he doesn't seem like he will and stuff. He definitely will. He'll at least for me, I know that he'd be there for me in a minute if I needed to. And a lot of people, I don't want to toot this kid's horn any more than it needs to be, right? But a lot of people don't know he's a stud basketball player too.
Is he? Okay.
I don't know how good he is anymore. He's probably rusty a little bit,
yeah.
but really, really good basketball player. Bullies people in the paint. Like, his shooting was it was there, but he's came a long way in basketball. He's really good. He's just an overall good athlete. Great person.
The more I've gotten, because I've known Greg now for a couple of years, the more I've got to know him, you really get to know Greg, and because some people think, oh, this guy's, maybe something was said on the field, they think he's a jerk or whatever, and he's not.
Yeah, because he comes out strong. He's got that strong personality. You know what I mean? And sometimes people can take some of that stuff the wrong way. So I don't think it's ever anything like that. If anything, he wants to stop drama and stop stuff like that.
No, Greg's a great guy.
But he's not afraid to express himself, so I think that some people just take that like he is.
People take everything, it all depends. Like, again, we go back to, the Pat thing. It's like, it's how you read it and how you took it. And,
of course, yeah. I mean, one little tweak of something can just sound the wrong way, so. But
yeah, but no, Greg is a great guy.
That kid, he was in my wedding, he was the groomsman.
Oh,
that kid will be, he's my brother for forever, for real, so.
Chris Lind had a question, guest from last week. Chris, we're not really going to get into that. We do appreciate the question, but some things just don't need to be on a television show.
Yeah, it's nothing personal either. I'd love to have that conversation with you one time if you're with Dan and whatever, have a couple beers, whatever.
Yeah, and then Darren Frost just said
He said eh.
Or does he mean EH? Does he want you to be an EH? I don't know.
No idea. I looked at that question and I was like, no idea what to say to that.
Yeah.
I try to think of something funny to say. No idea what to say to that.
Yeah.
So Darren, thank you, I guess. But I guess to give him a little shout out of something. Don't ever play him and Julie in cornhole.
Oh, really? They're good.
Yeah, they're really good. Okay. So we did a tournament in Cambridge, and I didn't play against them, but I was watching. Those people, that couple can win money if they wanted to. They go in there, throw a bag like it's nothing, and the next thing you know, they sink everything. So I don't really know.
Maybe he's talking about your cornhole skills.
I don't know. I never even played. It could be EH.
Yeah.
Because I suck in the field, so it could be. But it could just be
Yeah.
And that's kind of my answer to him is I don't really know what to say. So.
Well, fair enough. I do want to get into top fives.
Okay.
Starting off, and I want to give a shout out to Mike Daggs of Daggs Reviews, because he is, we do a top 5 movies all the time. Mike has been putting out his 100 movies list. He's a former guest of the show.
Couldn't even imagine.
And it's interesting. And I said, oh my God, and he's getting me to maybe want to watch some of these because I had never seen them. But what are your top 5 movies?
So, top 100, couldn't even imagine. I can't even give you 5.
That would take me a month.
I can't even give you 5. I don't watch movies.
Okay.
I know you're a movie guy. I don't really watch movies. I don't really watch TV. I do have some TV shows for you. I'm one of those guys, too. My wife will turn on the TV. She'll be watching some, and I'll be standing in the back, and I'll watch it, and then I'll catch my eye, and the next thing you know, I'm sitting on the couch, and she laughs at me because I tell her I don't watch TV.
Now you're sucked in?
Oh, of course, yeah. So I got 2 for you. 40-Year-Old Virgin. Can quote it. Love it.
Yeah.
And then Elf.
Okay.
Every Christmas time, I watch Elf. Can quote it, too. I had a tough time. I really can't think of any other ones. I mean, there's some that I like, but those 2 come to my mind that, okay, I'd sit down and I'd watch it right now,
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't watch Elf right now.
Yeah, it's not that time.
No.
I love the 4-year-old version. That's like peak Steve Carell. That is just when The Office started taking off.
Action figures,
Yeah.
especially like when he's painting the silver dress blue.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
And he didn't like to open them. Like I like to have them for decoration. He was like,
Growing up, I had a lot of wrestling figures. My mother still has them. My mom and dad, it's up in the attic somewhere. I can't wait to like just go over there, get all my Matchbox cars, all my action figures to bring it home for my son.
Well, the wild thing about like wrestling figures today, if you're like looking at this table, you see that Hulk Hogan, you see the Acolytes there, you see the Jake the Snake. That is not appealing to children. They don't know them. They know who their audience is, and they're selling these figures to adults. Because, sorry, my nephew, even if he got into wrestling, he doesn't know who they are.
I know.
So they know what they're. It's like become a whole subculture of
It's totally different. And then like you go to a family party and seeing some of these kids. I mean, like when we were young, we were outside. Like our parents had to beg us to come in. Some of these kids just on their phone. And I totally agree with you. That I'm sure that a lot of these kids are like, oh, who's Hulk Hogan? It's either we're wicked old, or that.
But there's no way that on the table is Hulk Hogan from the 1980s. There's no way that a 7-year-old kid would want that. Top 5 TV shows.
All right, so a couple series in here and a TV show. So Breaking Bad, no order in particular. Breaking Bad, loved it, loved it. Would watch it again. Me and my wife together.
The rewatchable is unbelievable with that show.
Oh, love it so much. Family Guy, that's a must. Couple nights, drinking here and there, you throw it on at the end of the night. It's great, Family Guy. There was a TV series show called Weeds. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Yes, I have heard of it. I didn't watch it.
It's a really good TV series. That was a long time ago we watched that, but we watched that whole thing. That was cool. Then there was a TV series, Under the Dome.
Okay.
Basically, I was trying to I asked her today, give me a little quick rerun on it, but basically this big dome went over the city, and then this mayor was in charge, but then there was a guy that was a cop or something that's was supposed to run the whatever. I don't know. It was pretty good. And then the last thing that we liked, which I don't think has been on air since certain situations have happened in this country, but Live PD we liked. Yeah. It wasn't as corny as Cops, didn't seem so staged, I'm sure it was in certain things, but because they're not going to show every single thing, but it just seemed like it was more live for sure. Yeah. And we definitely like that show. We turn it on at the end of the night too and stuff like that. And then just to see sometimes it's a joke, some of the stops, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But it hasn't been yet for a while. I don't think so.
Well, I always used to have an issue with Cops because I thought you were a lot of times they were exploiting people in poverty, where a lot of this stuff happens, and you're like,
well, that's okay. So that's the thing too, is that a lot of these times on that show like that, regular cops from back in the day, and then Live PD, they know who they're pulling up to and stuff that because of that type of area. You know what I mean? Same type of thing where I know, not to get into my work so much, but I know when certain people come back in and stuff, what to expect, how it is and stuff like that. So there's no way that these guys aren't pulling up to certain people and be like, oh, Hulk Hogan, I've seen him 100 times. You know what I mean? And I know it's kind of sad that they probably pick and choose if Hulk Hogan's one of those guys that acts crazy. Let's film
for TV.
Let's film on him. You know. So
no, for sure. There used to be another one that I enjoyed on Spike TV that I found was even more interesting than that was when they actually got them to the station.
Was it Lockup?
I think it was Lockup or something. It was on Spike TV.
And you get the guys in the window.
I thought it was kind of interesting because you actually see the how the process goes through.
Yeah, I don't know the name, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
I want to ask this, and I know you have 2 lists. We want to talk about. I think you have an all-time top 5 softball players you've seen and a Southern New Hampshire one.
Yeah, so I know that the question was your top 5 Southern New Hampshire. I'm new to New Hampshire. I've only lived there. June will be 2 years. Last year's the first time ever playing in New Hampshire. So I'm going to hit you with the top 5 I've ever played with and top 5 New Hampshire people. And this is in no particular order. So first and foremost is Greg Kelly. That's my buddy. Don't care. He's top 5 for me that I've played with. Out of respect from how much he showed me in the game and just I think he's a talented player. I'll tell you one little thing about kind of these top 5 real quick is one thing that frustrates me with Greg, and I say it to his face, and I do say it to him, and it's not just him. A lot of people do this in softball. As I go 100, like I told you, always, no matter what. You hit a pop-up, you hit a was gonna say the S word, but you hit a a small little line. Can't even ground ball.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it my regular way, and that messed me all up.
Yeah.
So you hit a small little ground ball, and you just barely even run down the first base because you know you're out. Are you probably out? Yeah. I like to just still try and run as hard as I can because you never know. Especially a hit like Greg can do in the outfield, right, and gets caught. He could be on second base by the time they catch it and drop it potentially, So that's the only downfall I got for that kid. And it's not just him; it's a lot of people too.
I'll be honest.
It's a big pet peeve.
It depends on my where I'm at.
I've seen you do it too.
Where I'm like, if I'm frustrated, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's other times.
And don't get me wrong, I'm a big guy in my own head, and I get frustrated too,
Yeah.
right? I've seen you do it too, nothing personal. But it's just a big pet peeve of mine because you never know. That's how I like to look at it. And I don't get to play a lot, so when I do get to play a lot, I'm going 100. That's why I do it. Some of these guys like Greg, he's playing 5 nights a week.
That's where I'm at, yeah.
And you are too? Okay, maybe you're not going to hustle as much. But all right, so top 5 is Greg Kelly, Mike Hudd. I don't know. I think you told me you've never gotten a chance to play with him.
I know who Mike Hudd is. He's imitated TB before. I believe.
Oh yeah, with the subs and the pizza and the stuff.
Pretty
he does
funny.
it. He works with me. So
okay.
He never wants to play with our work team because he's always so busy. So I hope you're watching this, Mike, and like maybe a guy like you who's on my top 5. I need you to come and play, please. So we got Greg Kelly, Mike Hudd, Anthony Cyrus. Joe Venturini. He plays in Merrimack. Have you seen that guy?
That name, I know who Cyrus is. That one does not ring a bell.
You never seen Anthony Cyrus play?
No, I know who he is. I don't know
Joseph
the other player.
Venturini. Yeah. He played for Buckley when I played.
Okay.
Bigger guy, a little bit older. I know he does a lot for the community around Christmas time.
Very
awesome
cool.
guy. Like that was the only year I played there, but like he wants to better people too, and I mean that guy is an animal. That guy's his arm and the way he hits, he is an animal. I think that's the only league he plays in. And then the last top 5 player that I played with all time would be Josh Moore. I guess he played for Bad Beat. I only played fall ball in Merrimack one time with him.
Okay.
He's got Bad Beat, lefty player, and then actually the tournament we did, the Tatas tournament. Remember when I was in right field and the ball sailed over my head?
Yeah.
This kid hit the ball and it was just like, it looked like it was coming at me, and then all of a sudden it's just
tailed.
Oh my god! Like up, no, and I'm
yeah.
like, this is way over my head. I'm screwed. But no, he was a stud, great kid. Didn't come off cocky or anything either. You wouldn't even think, Now top 5 New Hampshire. I gotta go. Mike Schultz, Amadeus.
Yep.
No order, by the way. Kenny Layton, Cody Trammell.
Yeah.
Might say that wrong.
Yeah,
Trammell.
I think that's how he says it.
And then I got to go with my last guy, my guy, Kyle Hamill.
Yeah.
Kyle Hamill, when I did Merrimack, I don't know if that was his first year playing or not, but I tried out with him.
He always says he hasn't been playing that long.
No, I think it was his first year because when we tried out, I knew a lot of I saw the kid, big kid, and a lot of people didn't know him because he wasn't really talking to anybody, showed up by himself. And I mean, I saw him hit that day. I saw him field that day. Good. But the improvement that kid has came, and that kid is an unbelievable dad too. He's down there throwing the ball with his son and stuff. And like, I like to see that type of stuff because I like to see success. And then I like to see that's what I want to do is I want to do that type of stuff with my son when I grow up.
No, it's pretty cool because like a family,
when he grows up.
It's like a family affair when they do come down, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I had he needed to give me a ride. He needed a ride home one day from fall ball, and I had the privilege to give him the ride home that day. I was just like, yeah, buddy, no problem. And me and him just got real good talk that day. And like, honestly, I really like that kid a lot. I respect that kid a lot. He is one of the guys, I'll say, because I'm on subject with it right now, who has definitely helped me out in a lot of ways and told me different ways. And then he's the same guy that's at third base. If I hit a ball and he's like, oh, Kev, great hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's great fielder, great hitter. And, when you see a guy like that and he's like, oh, great hit, you're like, it makes you feel good as a player that doesn't play that much, you know what I mean? So lots of respect for that kid. There's by no means any order of those people, and there's a lot of really great, you're a great ball player as well. I love the way that you can go opposite field, right down the line. There's a lot of good talent around our general area.
We always talk, and I've talked about this on the show, this is a hotbed. Southern New Hampshire is a hotbed for softball. I know Massachusetts is too, but like it's crazy the expansion I've watched with tournaments and how many leagues there are. And I remember someone said, no, it's dying. I go, no, it's far from dying.
You put Schultz, Cody, and Kenny Layton in the outfield, you don't need a fourth guy. Then you got a 5-man going on. You know what I mean? Those kids can cover ground like crazy. I mean, Schultz be at pickup, not even trying, and that kid's like covering crazy ground, you know?
Mike has a very good read on the ball.
Yeah, oh yeah.
One of the better people, you know, and I know he beats himself up if he makes a bad play. I go,
of course,
you're still human.
Oh, if
You know,
I do
it's
this,
gonna
I mean,
happen.
I do that. I don't know if you've seen it that much, but I know I do it. I beat myself up too. And Mike's a great kid. Got a privilege to play with all those people that I just said there, and you know, that I definitely go my top 5 for those guys.
All right. Well, I do want to get to this last segment of the show, which is
absolutely.
buy or sell. I'm going to give you something. You're telling me if you're buying or selling. Mac Jones.
I'm selling Mac Jones. I already said I'm a Bailey Zappi guy. Listen, I bought my son a Mac Jones jersey, and I literally taped Zappi or
man.
Bailey or whatever. No, Zappi in the back. You know,
Yeah.
I couldn't do the number; it wasn't that big. But yep. See you later, Mac Jones. Bye bye.
Bill Belichick as the coach moving forward of the New England Patriots. I know he's starting to get on the hot seat, and he needs to be, you know, but
I'm gonna buy it. It hasn't really been broken, you know what I mean? If it's not fix it, don't break it. I mean, who knows if he's really the biggest problem? I don't really know.
oh, I don't think he is.
No,
But
so I'm not selling that. I'm not. With all the stats he's got, I know it's with Brady and all the success he's had, I'm not selling that.
well, you know, it was big for them to get back in the playoffs last year, and then this year was just a lot of disaster.
Could have still made the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Bad decision from Matt Patricia, 100%. You know, definitely affects us there. Could have still made the playoffs. I'm buying him.
And the Bills were revved up for that game, especially after everything that happened.
Absolutely.
80s music.
I'm selling.
Oh, wow.
I don't really know 80s music that much.
Really?
I mean, you play it, I'll know it, but I couldn't give you any 80s music songs.
Okay. All right.
So I'm selling for that reason. I might like it, honest to God. If you put it on, I'll probably be like, oh, okay, that's a jam. You know what I mean? But I couldn't tell you any jam, so I'm selling it.
Okay. All right. I got to ask this because this has come back on the show a couple times. Skittles finally got rid of the sour apple one, which I can't. It's Justin smiling in the back. I can see it because I bring this up all the time. I hated the sour apple Skittle. They brought back lime. You buying or selling lime Skittles?
Selling.
Oh.
I'm not a candy guy.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's not a...
And I'm definitely not Skittles. If I'm going to be a candy guy, I'm definitely not Skittles. So
Okay.
I'm selling 1,000,000% to the moon.
All right. Fair enough.
So sorry I couldn't help you with that answer.
Returning your shopping cart. Buying or selling doing that. I know we've talked about it already.
I'm buying it. I mean, I'm returning it, right? Am I making money off returning it? Then I'm buying it. You know what I mean?
Imagine that. Well, if you go to Aldi's, I think you have to, if you want your quarterback, you got to put it in the thing. Like they make you take a quarter in, take a quarter out.
Honestly, that'd be a real interesting way to see if that's how people would put that back. You know?
I think it'd be hard to do it like Market Basket or Walmart. Aldi's a very small audience. They obviously are in business and doing well, but it's not.
Are you a Sam's Club or a BJ's member?
No. No.
Well, don't.
Yeah.
Because that's even worse. Because the cots are even bigger.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, you'd lose your stuff if you went in there.
I got to ask this, and remember who you're sitting next to when you answer this question. We have dropped, it is no longer a Nashua Sunday Co-Ed 2.0. We have dropped the 2.0. I think we've made our point that this was a reboot. We're back to Nashua Sunday Co-Ed. What do you think of the Nashua Sunday Co-Ed League? Buy or sell?
Buy or sell? I only did it 1 year last year, and I was playing 4 games a week because I love playing. Am I buying or selling? I'm going to buy because I think it has a lot of potential. I think it does. I think you did a great job running it. I heard Max did a great job running it. I heard maybe a little bit 2 different types of running, you know. I think it has a lot of potential. You know, Sunday Fun Day. That second field definitely needs a fence, which I know that you're debating.
Would like to get something. We can't physically put a regular fence, but we could get the
correct,
orange
right.
one.
But one of the questions that you had that we didn't really get to go over that much, but was what would I change in leagues?
Yeah.
So with that being said, back to the Sunday Co-Ed. I love that you do Player of the Week. I love that you do it, and it's chosen by the team. I love that you keep the home run stats. Not that I'm a home run guy by any means. I've had a couple under my bat, you know what I mean? So whatever, cool. It's still slow pitch softball, doesn't really matter. But I like that because it keeps you going, you know. I never got Player of the Week, so it's like...
Marjorie, oh, come on.
No, it's fine. and I don't take that as a negative thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually take that as positive because I look at it as, well, I'm going to work harder next week and I don't even care about that, honestly, I don't. But for me to get that, I got to do better. So I don't take that as negative. I take that as, hey, I got to work a little bit better in certain stuff. And I definitely want to try and better myself this year. I haven't been in the cages. I know you're going and stuff because it's tough with my son. She works nights, and I really only have Tuesday nights off. That's why we're doing the special here. Yeah, when it gets to the spring, I'll put in my own work and stuff like that. So I'm definitely buying that league. I'm going to switch up a couple things in that league, I think, a little bit. 9 innings. No, nobody wants to do 9. You know I do because I'm a psycho and I want to do 9 innings. But no, I'll be honest with you, just a team, and you know this, the team balances weren't there.
Yeah, and that's
I
hard.
love Bomb Squad. They're a family to me. Great team. It's just if you'd put other teams like Bomb Squad in that league and it was just those teams, they could be a top team, 100%. But it's tough because, and we've had this conversation a couple times, it's tough because you got other these tournament plays, and if you don't throw in some of these tournament plays, then there won't be teams either. You know what I mean? So it's tough.
It's a tough balance because you can't be like, well, you can't play because you're not good enough, and you can't play because you're too good.
What about a Sunday co-ed draft?
I would love it.
It's just you can't count on people to be there all the time.
I just think Merrimack has such a cool thing going.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if you can recreate it right now because of what they have going, and I already have teams scrambling on Sundays. I just think.
So when? Oh no, I know. Well, that's why I played 4 games every single week.
Yeah.
Somebody always needed a guy. I was like, oh, I'll be a guy. But why is it not 2.0? I'm a little confused about that.
I figured we did the 1 year of that.
What was
the
it?
2.0 is just saying we are rebranding the league, which was the whole idea. The league had dropped tremendously in numbers.
Mm-hmm.
By the end, we were only about 4 teams. Even though one of the best series that I ever played in was NWO versus Rock Bottom. That was an unbelievable series. It was crazy. I mean, we spoke about it on the show. It was absolutely nuts.
Is Rock Bottom, was that like Hamill?
Matt Lee. Well, Hamill was part of that.
Hamill, yeah. And Amadeus or something. I think
Amadeus,
I saw
yeah, he missed the championship, but it was
good squad.
It was unreal.
I don't know a lot of them, but I know by face. I'm a person that never forgets faces and stuff, and I see it from other posts, with that. Good squad. But yeah.
No, it was a lot of fun, and that's the one championship I've won with Greg, so it was really cool. But we are out of time here, Kevin.
Hey,
I really appreciate
thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
No, we'll have to do it again sometime, but everybody out there, we will have another show this week that's going to be pretty interesting coming up. But everybody out there, return your carts, keep your head up, and until next time, let freedom ring.
Good night. Thank you.